the land uses, and the various other alternative use of production of the foods, the technological intervention, and at the same time, with the use of so much of chemical fertilizers, etc., it has affected the food production in the long term, the soil quality, and also the overall health hazards in the environment of the human beings. So that's why we have to see to it the alternative way, maybe the organic farming and other alternatives coming up, how far it will be feasible about the demand, supply things are concerned. So we have many other issues to be dealt with. So I won't go much on that. We have a resource person, so let's try to listen first what the resource person shared with us, and all the participants, if you have any questions, queries, we will be taking up the Q&A session at the end of all the resource person have made the presentation. So if you have their questions, kindly put in the chat box so that we can pick up, and similar questions we can try to address it almost simultaneously. Well, to begin with, I would like to invite our respected resource person today, Professor Mayakant Awasthi. He is from the Center for Food and Agribusiness Management, Indian Institute of Management, Lucknow. And Professor Awasthi will be making a presentation on the topic sustainable food and nutrition security in the mountains towards a strategic approach. That is a topic. I believe the wide array of experiences and enriching thoughts and ideas Professor Mayakant Awasthi will be sharing will be of immense benefit to all the learners, researchers, and policymakers for making a strategic flip in the food security management or the food distribution systems, and especially the nutrition security, etc., in this part of the region. So I request Professor Mayakant Awasthi to kindly share your valuable thoughts and ideas and experiences. And Professor Awasthi, we will be just giving you as a matter of this one management of the time. Normally we will give you 15 minutes as per the schedule. So kindly just bear with us and proceed it. So Professor Awasthi, please proceed.
Okay, Professor Mathi. I will not take even that much time because a lot of things already you have explained about the food security, sustainable food security. So I will basically restrict to myself to those areas where I feel that we have to explore, we have to think loudly. Very quickly. Disturbance. I will request everyone to please switch off the microphone. Okay. So, but then before that, let me thank the coordinator of the program, Professor B.K. Mishra, Professor Deepak Bhagat, and SLS Akoijan, for providing me this opportunity to share my thoughts on such important theme. Why this theme is important? Because this is very close to my heart. And why this theme is important? Theme of the webinar is critical because it is critical for both, for local communities and policy planners. Why it is critical for both? Because it involves welfare, growth, and prosperity of local communities. This is the theme which we were working on for 10-15 years. Now we have identified the broad skeleton of the theme framework through which we try to develop the relevant policies for that. So before we start, let me ask the basic question. Let me address the basic questions. What is food nutrition security, and why it is important, and why it is important, especially in context of the mountainous regions? But what is the genesis of this sustainable food and nutrition security? If you look at the history, just try to review the history. basically this concept has emerged from the sustainable development goals or global goals established by UN in 2015. These are basically collection of 17 interlinked goals designed to be blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all by 2030. So that is the guiding principle, which actually created or rather given us uh, goal to think on this direction, that how to create a system where we can achieve the food security, not only food security, food and nutrition security, which is sustainable and with respect to mountainous regions which have peculiar characteristics. So this is the background. Now, as we know that essentially when we talk about food security essentially has three elements. Availability, that means in order to achieve the food security, you have to ensure that food is available. And when we are saying that this is been with respect to mountainous region, that means food should be available to all. Whenever they require, they should have the food available. And then not only availability, we have to also ensure that food should they should have the access to food. When we say access to food, that means physical access as well as economic access, or another word, affordability. And the food which we are making them available, that should be safe to consume. So these are the three elements or pillars of the food security, or in other words, in order to achieve the food security, we have to achieve these three. Now the basic issue is that how to ensure that food is available in mountainous region without hindrance throughout the years. Whenever they require, the food is available to them. Whatever food they require, that is available to them. So how to ensure that? What are the challenges and what are the strategic options we have in order to ensure that food is available to us? Similarly, we have to also see that they should have the economic and physical access to food, especially in mountainous region where we have a lot of topographical limitations and other limitations. How we can achieve that? What are the strategic options we have? And how to ensure that the food which is available or which is coming in the system or which is being distributed or which is being made available to them, that is safe to consume. So these are some of the strategic options or issues we will be trying to explore quickly. I have been given 15 minutes. I will try to restrict my thought, present my thought in 15 minutes only. Okay, so let us look them one by one in context of the mountainous regions. Availability, how to ensure the food to all in mountainous regions. In order to ensure that, we have to create a system through which we can make the product available. Now, for that, we have to understand what are the limitations of these areas, which we have to tackle through creative thinking, through innovative thinking. For example, in order to make the food available, ensure the physical availability of the food, we have to tackle with the connectivity issue. You know, there is a topographical limitations, constraints in mountainous regions. You have the area which are located in deep rural areas where you don't have proper road connectivity, you don't have all-weather road. So how to ensure what type of the system we can develop in order to ensure that the physical availability of the food product is there, because that is not very easy. Why it is not easy? Because this is a sparsely populated area. You have the population which is scattered in vast area with difficult connectivity. So what type of the creative thinking we can have in order to solve this puzzle? There may be a village, hamlet, which is located in a deep rural area of the mountainous regions where only 5 families are living. Now, transportation cost or the distribution cost of the food product will be prohibitive. So we have to think some creative solutions, some creative system through which we can assure that. Then another problem which is a biggest constraint in mountainous region because of the topographical constraints is weather related disturbances. There are areas where we have several weather related disturbances, like you have the snowfall. certain areas remain cut off from the rest of the country for fairly long period of time, for a few months. So how to ensure the availability of the food in those areas? Then you also have the problem of logistics. You have various means or hybrid means of transporting the product in these areas. For example, you use the vehicles, trucks where roads are available. You use animal transportation mechanism. You use bullocks, you use goats, you use sheep, you use yaks. All sort of transportation means you use. They have their own limitations. So these are the challenges. And then on the top of it, you also have the problem of the storage. For example, in order to ensure that food is available throughout the year in these locations, you have to create some system through which you can ensure the storage of the food. Because you can't have the just-in-time concept in rural area. You have to create the storage from where you can distribute the product. So how to achieve that? These are the real challenges, and they require creative solutions. Especially in rural area, for example, we don't have the warehouse system. So in absence of the warehouse, what type of the system you can create or you should create, which will ensure the availability of the food? And not only that, other than the PBS shops, you don't have a retailer system in these remote, sparsely populated area. So what could be the solution? You have to think strategically that how to achieve what type of the system you have to create and how to achieve the universal availability of the food product in order to ensure the food security, because this is one of the most important pillar of food security. Then in rural area, if you look at the access, physical access and affordability, there are people who have the godowns near their house, but they don't have the money to buy it. So product is available, but they don't have the access because they don't have the purchasing power. So how to take care of that? That means in order to ensure the economic access, which is again important element of the food security, you have to work on poverty. Again, in order to work on poverty, what are the routes you have to follow? You have number of the options, but then what are the routes you can follow? For example, one route through which you can remove the poverty is that you directly transfer the money, direct transfer, so that their purchasing power instantly increases, or you give them the productive asset through which they can generate the income. So that means you have various options, various strategic options through which you can remove the poverty, and in order to increase the purchasing power, you have number of the options. You can choose any option, but then you have to think which is better, which can work in this area, in this context, which can be adopted. Then one another very important aspect which very oftenly ignore, that food habit of the people in rural area is changing very fast. For example, now increasingly they use external product. Earlier they were using the product which are locally grown. Other than the dipset product, Professor Mathi was telling that mountainous regions, especially in northeast region, you have a situation where you are net importer. You have to import the food because you don't have sufficient product which can meet the demand. But other than that, that is true. But then other than that, fooding habit of the people are also changing. Now increasingly they are buying the product which is not locally grown. So how to ensure the availability of those products? For example, when your income increases, you start buying more and more processed product, and these processed products come from the outside the local system. So what type of the distribution system you can have, which will ensure the availability of not only essential food product, unprocessed product, but also processed product? That is again a challenge. Then how to ensure the safety of the food product, which is again ingredient of the food security? Because in rural area, deep rural area, because of the remoteness, regulator is virtually absent. So that means there is no one who can regulate the food quality or monitor the food quality. So what type of the system or subsystems you can create in order to ensure that food which is being made available to them in the remote areas, remote mountainous areas, that has a good quality and that is safe to consume. So these are some of the elementary thinking which we have to initiate in order to identify the proper solutions to all these challenges which I was just signaling. Now let us come to the sustainable food security. Whatever I was actually explaining, that was basically food security and its element, and how they are relevant in context of the mountainous regions. Now let us look at the sustainable food security system. Sustainable food and nutrition security system is a food system that essentially delivers the food security and nutrition for all in such a way that the economic, social, and environmental basis to generate food security and nutrition for future generations are not compromised. What does it mean? In order to meet the nutritional and food and nutritional requirement of the people, we
There is
have
a connection issue.
You are not getting my voice?
No, it's audible, sir. It's very good, sir.
Okay. So, how much time I have left with? How much time I can take? Hello?
I think chairman, sir, only can tell, sir. Sir, you go, sir.
I just want to know so that I can actually plan. Anyway, I will try to finish in 5 minutes, right? Okay, so sustainable food security system, which we are trying to develop, which is a theme which is given to me. What actually we mean by this sustainable food security system? This is a system which through which you ensure the food security of the present generation without compromising the food security of the future generation. That is the idea. Now, as Professor Panda was telling that, in order to have the sustainability, you should have 3 elements. Economic, you have to ensure the economic sustainability. That means achieving the food security in such a way that it is economically sustainable. Then ensuring the food security system in such a way that it is socially sustainable or it is environmentally sustainable. So I will try to give in a brief the idea of the sustainability in context of the mountainous region. There's some disturbance. There's some disturbance. Can you hear me?
Sunil, you can mute the participant. Sunil,
Yes, sir. Yes, it's audible.
On my side, there is some disturbance. Anyway, so what is economic sustainability and how we can achieve it? Economic sustainability essentially means that achieving the sustainability in such a way that some disturbance. I can't hear him. Some disturbance. Okay. So economic sustainability. How to ensure that while achieving the food sustainable, food security, nutritional and food security, we can have the economic sustainability. There's one strategy which you can follow. In fact, most of the time, this is the strategy which we follow in order to ensure that we have the economic sustainability while trying to achieve the food security. That the process should be profitable. Now, how to ensure that the process is profitable? Why? Because in mountainous region, it is a serious challenge. Take the example of any state, mountainous state. You have a small landholding. When you have a small landholding, there is a low economies of the state, and there is a serious issue of market linkage. Then you also have the issue of value addition, value creation, and value capture. For example, someone who creates the value, small farmer who is located say, in some village or area, he produces the product. Can I request everyone please switch off the microphone? I'm getting a lot of noise.
Sunil, kindly mute everybody except the speaker. Sunil, kindly mute.
Okay, now it is better. Okay, so the issue here is that how to ensure that production which is taking place in rural area, remote rural area, that is profitable, because there is serious challenge. most of the farmers are the farmers who has a small land holding, very small land holding. They are not generating sufficient marketable surplus, and economies of the scale is so low that virtually it is impossible to earn the profit. And as Professor Panda was telling that initially or essentially they produce to meet their family requirement. So in that situation, how to ensure that production process is profitable? There is issue of market linkage also. For example, a small farmer who is located in deep rural area of say Nagaland. Now, if he is generating some marketable surplus, for example, tomato or potato, in order to sell those tomato or potato, he has to bring those potato or tomatoes in town. Transportation cost will be prohibitive. So that means the production system itself will be not profitable. So how to tackle that problem? Then you also have the issue of value addition or value creation. For example, we often give the example of uncle chips or the potato chips. Potato chips cost around 3 rupees. 1 kg potato costs around 3 rupees. But then when final product comes in the form of the potato chips, you consumer pay around 300-400 rupees. So that means the one person who has created the value is not capturing the value. Or in other words, we have a system, especially in rural area, where value creator is different, value capturer is different. The one who creates the value usually doesn't capture the value. So in that situation, how to ensure that the system is economic or it has the economic sustainability, because this type of the exploitative system is not going to work very far. Similarly, we have the issue of social sustainability and how to ensure the social sustainability at the time of achieving or trying to achieve the food security. The strategic option which we have is that it has to broad-based benefit for the society. You have to create a process through which you will achieve the food security, nutritional and food security, in such a way that it has broad-based benefit to society. That means every stakeholder of the society gets benefit from that process. So how to achieve that? Again, it requires a lot of creative thinking, because there are a lot of issues. Some issues I have already flagged. There will be some other issues. Then environmental sustainability. This is the last point which I want to highlight before I wind up. Never forget that we are dealing with a product which comes from the natural process. You are talking about food, and food is coming through natural process where we don't have control. I will give you the example. When you want to produce the milk, you can't have an industrial process. What you have to do, you have to take the help of the factory, and that factory is cow or goat. So you feed the goat, and goat gives the milk. That means you don't have the control in that process how that goat has made the milk. Or say, for example, meat, you feed the animal, and that you feed the grain to animal, and then that grain gets converted into meat. You don't know how they are converting the meat. So that means this is the process where we don't have any control. We use the natural process to produce at the primary production level in food sector. Most of the processes through which you produce the product, they are natural, where we don't have the control. And if you are producing using a process where we don't have the control, naturally there will be impact. And most of the time it is negative impact on environment. And when there is a negative impact on environment, that means you are compromising the production capacity or capabilities of future generation. So these are the natural issues which we have to confront with, which we have to deal with. And most of these issues are strategic issues. You have to find the strategy, you have to formulate the strategy to tackle them. There are different options. You have to weigh every option, that whether this option will be better or that option will be better. Pros and cons you have to examine, and then you have to come up with the idea that okay, for this context, this region, this is the solution. This is the type of the process which you will be working. So with this, I will be ending my deliberation on this topic. Thank you. Over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Vasti, for enlightening a lot about the strategic options available in front of us. And also you have touched upon the very vitality of the rural areas, especially in the mountainous regions. In fact, the rural areas, there is a acute shortage of domestic necessities, and for that matter, distribution system and various other aspects of the affordability, access, These are the challenges which we are facing. And even the land holding in these areas is relatively very low. That's why for making profitable production, there is no economies of scale. So that's but in fact, we have so much of other challenges in front of us. So what are the other alternatives? What are the resources that they are having? So can we just think of any other alternative way of substituting the buying power of the food items?